What's the saying? There's no such thing as a bad W. It wasn't pretty by any stretch. I thought it was a extremely gritty, tough, defensive-minded basketball game tonight, especially on our side. I was very pleased with the fact that a team that came in shooting 47-48% from the field, 41% from the three, and really negated that. We were really active. We were very, very concerned. We knew they were going to take a lot of threes. And Stansbury's a terrific player. Avia's a terrific player. They're terrific shooters. Holding them 3 of 22. They were contested. We wanted them to take hard twos, and I thought we did that. And unfortunately, we looked like a team that had been off for a week on the offensive end, and didn't really find a rhythm. And I think one of the biggest discrepancies or biggest differences maybe in the two halves, can't turn the ball over like we did in the first half. And then I think we go 15 minutes in the second half without one. And you see how good our defense was, and you see a little bit of improvement on the offensive end, and a little IQ, and a little bit of execution on the offensive end. And we got Kofi touches with a little movement. We got Georgie some opportunities. We got Kipper some opportunities. We got some ball screen actions. Got guys going downhill into the rim. So everything started to flow a little bit, basically because we didn't turn it over. So, our defensive numbers, I think, have been skewed a good amount because of our turnovers. And tonight we put that together, and I'm very, very proud of our guys on the defensive end of the floor.
Question? Brad, what does a contribution like that from Kipper Nichols mean for your bench and your team, and what's the key to getting that in the future?
Not only Kipper, Allen was huge. We were number 2 in the country in offensive rebounding, and really, to be honest, we just stood around the first half and didn't attack the glass, and made some early substitutions, and Allen came in and gave us a huge lift. Kipper, we got some opportunities. We know Kipper can score the basketball, and he's an excellent passer. His productivity tonight was vital, and we need that consistently from him. And I think we'll get that. He's had a really, really good week of practice.
What made you decide to emphasize this idea of the kill? All the guys were kind of talking about that right away when they came in here.
Well, I think it's more a basketball terminology. It's something we talk about in practice. We talk about getting 3 stops in a row. And, a lot of momentum swings in a basketball game usually start when you can get 3 stops in a row or score with 3 times in a row. So we try to put those back to back if we can. But it's just been a way for us to identify a presence and develop a little bit of a personality on that end of the court.
The level of confidence for you and your staff in Trent's defensive effort never been higher,
No.
considering what he did tonight.
No, and he's elite at handling screens. He very seldom ever gets screened, and that's a tremendous skill. It's very hard to do, and he's always dialed in. He never takes a second off. It's very rare when he does that, and for a team that runs a ton of actions and they run a lot of reverse actions, a lot of floppy actions off the baseline to get Stansbury shots, and he was right there every step of the way, and made his looks very tough tonight, and that's what it takes to really hold down a great defender, or a great offensive player, excuse me.
Brad, was there something about the timing of putting a name to this concept of a kill before the season? It doesn't sound like Kipper said you had a name for it, I guess, before now, is there something?
No, I think, you know, we've been so aggressive in turning people over. It wasn't, you know, a big priority, I guess. Now it has become that, and that's one of the things that we're, you know, we're trying to establish on the defensive side is that mentality. And, you know, we know offense wins games, defense wins championships, and that's just a little phrase that we can use to keep reminding our guys, and we talk about it in timeouts all the time.
Brad, how much has Trent improved defensively since you got here? And how much has he bought into that end of the floor a little bit more than when you first took that job?
Well, the fact he couldn't guard you when he got here is probably a pretty good indication. But Trent had a reputation, and still does, as being an elite scorer. And, you know, he's very gifted, but what gets lost is Trent's basketball IQ and his feel. Now he's, you know, he's been in our system, he knows, he understands the actions that are coming at him. He is unbelievable in a scouting report. Maybe as good as anybody we have at knowing not just what he's supposed to do, but what everybody's supposed to do. And, you know, we quiz our guys on scouting reports, and Trent's never wrong. But he's got that knack to see it before it happens, and that's allowed him to become elite defensively. He's gotten stronger, and now he's figured out how to use his speed to help him.
Shannon.
What was different for Kofi in the second half, and just as a freshman, just a few games into his career, to kind of have the persistence to keep going? What do you credit that to as well?
Yeah, you know, I thought we necessarily didn't help him in the first half. We got him looks, but they were quick. They were we hadn't made the defense move, and there was. You know, I think the one thing for Kofi, the game is still a little fast for him. You see him kind of rush things every now and then, and you know, he's got to realize that, you know, he's quite big and he's large, and just slow down and grab the ball, and he can move people. But you know, the second half, you know, to his credit, we ran better offense. We got him a little deeper in the post. He made a couple of nice moves with the bounce. And you know, it was a combination of his patience, his confidence, and then us running much better offense.
Scott.
I guess for Kofi and Georgie to kind of be the closers tonight, was that, you know, a good thing to see where that duo was working maybe as you've envisioned?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, let's not forget, you know, that Georgie's a good player. Georgie's a guy that. You know, we give him the green light to shoot that three. He's shot 1 million of them this summer. He's shooting a very, very high clip right now. And, you know, but most importantly, he's using that shot fake to make great passes. And, you know, it was what they gave us. And we had him in foul trouble. We were, you know, running really good offense late and putting a lot of pressure on the front of the rim with those guys.
I know it can be a misleading stat, Brad, but when Allen is plus 19 in 15 minutes, what is that a testament to what he can give you off your bench?
Yeah, everything that's not on that stat sheet, and that's what Allen brings. And you know, his length defensively, his energy, his ability to offensive rebound creates extra possessions. And you know, I don't get too overwhelmed by one game. I pay attention to it. I have a tendency to look at them in 4 or 5 game bundles. But yeah, I mean, Allen had a really good week of practice, and we need him on the offensive glass, and we need him at the offensive end as well.
Right here, George.
Brad, only a few turnovers there, I think 6 in the second half. Was there something different that you guys were doing in the second half that hasn't been there? I mean, do you know what's caused those in the first?
Wish I knew what it was. I mean, you know, we had 29 assists and 12 turnovers in all of practice yesterday. I know we're capable of it. I think, you know, again, we've played just a little bit sped up. We've played too fast and tried to do too much too early instead of, you know, letting things happen. I mean, you have a, you know, 40-point second half, and you know, we move the ball, share the ball, and our assist totals go up, and that's a lot of fun. And you know, trying to hit home runs every time, so to speak, after one or two passes is not what this game's, is not how this game's meant to be played.
Coach, can you comment?
Coach, they won the points in the paint battle. I know you liked your night defensively, but was there anything, issues that gave up some easy ones there?
No, because this is a team that was electric from the three, and we wanted them to shoot twos. We didn't feel like they could make enough twos to beat us. We wanted them to have to shoot with a contested hand. We had a couple of rotational things, Derek, where we didn't come over and challenge. You know, we're this game. There's a team that's shooting 25 plus threes and shoot 41%. You're not going to let them do what they do best. And I thought we limited their two best players tonight to really hard looks.
You mentioned the rotating on that in that last response. Can you talk about your on-ball defense and the rotating that you saw tonight?
Yeah, I thought, you know, we were better than we were against Arizona on the ball. And, you know, Bugs is a tremendous point guard. He's got a great assist to turnover ratio. He's a guy that facilitates so much for them. And, you know, I thought we did a good job of keeping him in front, staying down with him. He's really effective getting in the paint and starts pivoting, and all of a sudden you lose sight of your man and he's spraying it for threes. I thought that was better. And then, you know, early I thought Kofi did a really good job of coming over and challenging shots and blocking shots. Georgie got a couple. You know, that helps us. But, you know, it's still something we're continuing to work on.
Brad, Kofi's averaging about 14 points, 11 rebounds so far. 4 games, how would you just evaluate his start to his career here?
It's pretty good for a freshman. Pretty good.
You talk about what Zach Griffith provided tonight for his little fill-in duty.
Zach, and I'll say this about Zach. Zach gave us fits all week in practice. And the one thing he does is, you know, he's on the scout team, and he was number 14 for them all week. And he gave us a pretty good example of what it was going to be like to guard him. Zach's very smart, high IQ, moves around, you lose sight of him, and you turn back around, he's not there. And then he's had great energy on the offensive glass, and I'm not afraid at all to put Zach in there.
To get Georgie just a couple touches on the block early, does that make a difference in just his comfort level and maybe his confidence, just to do a little of what he did last year as well?
Yeah, and that's been one of the things we've worked really hard on, Scott, here in the last week, is making sure we get him opportunities and create that, you know, those looks. And I thought he rushed a couple, but yeah, we've got to get him the ball on the block, because we all know he's going to make 60% of those. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you Wednesday.